Congratulations, Crazy Calhoun. Here's your video. Show you how to fish your winnings. All right, so come in here and I'd show you how to rig it and what you're going to need. We got what you want to start with is a spin casting rod and reel and medium light power. I'd keep the length of the rod under 6'6". What you want to do is use 8 pounds or less fluorocarbon line. This will keep it kind of invisible to the fish. The less, the better. The difference between the 8 pound and the 6 pound, it's negligible. So I always will stick with 8 if I'm planning on catching big fish. If you want to catch real small fish, you're going to have to go lower. But with a hook and weight, you want about 2 feet. Okay. For this demonstration, I'm just using this yellow braid, so you can see. So when I tie it on, you can better understand. There's different kinds of hooks, so let me go through those. This is what I call the swivel hooks. You got the EWG, and then you got the regular hook right here, as you can see. And the EWG, these, there's applications for these, and I use these on occasion, these swivel hooks. But I will tell you they're a pain because the line gets caught up in these swivels. So, and they're expensive. And, one thing with this fishing drop shot is you tend to lose. It's designed so you just lose the weight, but every once in a while you lose the whole rig. So in my experience, I kind of stay away from these, and you go with something just cheaper. You can get for 10 of these, you can get 3 of these. So it kind of shows you. And these, I believe that it rigs nicer, and it holds the fish better. And this is the 2 that I use. I'm showing you the red ones just so you can see them better. But the EWG and the regular, this is an octopus. I kind of tend to stay away from these because a lot of times it makes it go crooked, but the hookup ratio on these octopus are fantastic. So there's kind of a trade-off there. And so you can decide what you want to do. When you see you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. But these EWGs, I'm going to assume you understand that how to rig those. I can rig one real quick. They're making it so that, it comes out like this, and you can bury the hook. And that's what these EWG, and that's for places with vegetation, you got to have that. Even if you have a little vegetation, they tend to help out with getting stuff off your hook all the time. But the hookup ratio on these are just a ton better. So, FYI. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and tie one up. So there's going to be people who, there's so many different opinions. And I go for efficiency and making it so that the hook stays at a perpendicular to the line. And I think that that's the most important thing. A lot of people will tell you use the Palomar knot, but I find that this knot is more simple to tie and it holds the hook better. And as long as you just are careful on the tying of it, you're fine. So you're going to want to go always with drop shot. You're going to go down the hook, okay, just like that. You're going to make a loop, okay, just pinch that loop, and then you're going to put the hook through it. I do 3 times. You can do whatever you are superstitiously, because I think that's what it is. Okay, so then when you get that, you wet it. And this is where it's important. You're going to make sure with this braided, it's stiff, so it's going to be more of a hassle. But you're going to just pull it. You're going to see it come And once you pull it, and then you're gonna have to do a little ranging. Yeah. See, that's one of the things that you have to watch for. This is the details of fishing that are super important. If you just walk away like this, it looks fine, right? Well, it really isn't, because see this. There's a little line caught under there, and if you didn't get that out, that would make a difference. So once it's tight, get a nice tight. Okay, so now you notice, just for this video, this is where you would put your 2 feet. Now I just put a foot because I don't want to, this is just wasted line. So then you're going to take this is your barrel weight. And a lot of people, I use barrel weight for everything. A lot of people say, oh, you should just use this in vegetation, and then in rocks, you should use a ball weight. Through the years, you lose just as many ball weights on rocks as you do these little ones. And I believe that I can sometimes manipulate these out of the cracks of these rocks easier than I can the ball weight. So I just use this on everything. And I'll send you a few of these. And what we're going to do there is you'll see a little hole, and it looks like a little V. I don't know if you can see that. But it's just a little V. You put it through, and then you're going to just lift it up, just like that. Now, there's a couple things to tell you. That now, one is if it's another detail. You got to look real careful, and if this is not V'd and it doesn't seem like it's holding, then you can take some pliers and just squeeze these together. I do that all the time. Another thing that I do is I just make one overhand knot, and I don't hardly even tie it. I just put it nice. It's not loose, but it's not. And I just do that so that there's just a little extra there. Okay, and that's your rig. That is the rig. From there, you have, the wonderful thing about this is the options that you have when you make this rig. There's just so much you can fish on it. And the first thing you're going to do is decide, well, what do I want to catch? And like you saw in my video the other day, there was a bunch of perch. So I get a perch pattern out. What I always do with these is I rig them on the nose, not so far down that it swims unnaturally, but down to a point where it doesn't break off easy, because the fish are going to be pulling on that tail. Now this is a offset again, so I'm going to have to offset it just a little so that when it goes up like this, see, it's going to be straight. And that's just another little detail to consider, is you want these straight up and down when it's in the water. So that will go pretty much straight up and down given the offset of that hook. That's how you're going to rig what you won. I think you saw during the video that it lasts about 3-4 fish, so it's pretty good. All right, so there's other things I wanted to show you. These are Gulp. You can fish these. Pretty much anything you can think of. This would catch, you could catch like lake trout, all kinds of things on this little silver Gulp minnow. And bass. This is a high visibility thing, so maybe if you had some low visibility lake or a river, this would be a good option. You can also do, this is a little tip that I thought I'd throw at you. If you're in a lake with largemouth, this is kind of every kayak and drop shot fisherman learned this right off. This is one of those robo worms, and for whatever reason, a purple with a chartreuse tail. It just is a largemouth magnet. So if you're fishing a lake with largemouth, this is fantastic. And you can same deal. This would be a good option if you're also on an EWG, so you could rig it like I showed you at the beginning. But pretty cool. And then another option you can do is, the drop shot allows you to fish. Like, this is a smaller worm, and you can wacky it. And where the little ones have trouble fishing, well, now you're fishing a small wacky worm. So if the fish are really not biting, I guarantee you this setup always catches me fish. This little, it's a little watermelon with blue flake, and you just wacky rig this, and it keeps it. So when it's going down and does the little shimmer that the wacky rig does, that little doo 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 doo, and it also keeps it 2 feet off the bottom, and so you can feel the bottom, and then you just let it naturally go down, and you pull it back up to that. It'll be 2 feet, or whatever your drop line is, and then you just let it fall down again. It's crazy how many fish you can catch with this, but this is just a little. You can get this. I don't know what brand this is. Oh, that's just a Yum Dinger, small. But a little tip there for you. And then my favorite. This is when all else fails. This is the Z-Man drop shot. This package right here, trick shots, and it's ridiculous. These things just catch fish, and they float. This one's a little beat up. If you go on YouTube, this is just what I've developed through the years. If you go online, there is so many videos on drop shot. In the description, I will add a link or two for other tutorials that may be helpful. There's just a ton of different ideas, and you're going to develop your own ideas, and I encourage that. The more you fish this, the more you'll understand that it's really about what the fish want. And, this, I told you, this, I like to keep 2 to 18 inches, but, sometimes the fish are right on the bottom, and you can put this all right on the bottom, and this tends to stir up stuff, and it attracts the fish. Think, hey, what is stirring up the water? And they'll come over and check it out. The size of hook, what you want to do is, given that, once... Okay. All right, so the size of hook you want to use is, you want enough room for not only the bait, but the fish to bite it. So if there's not enough room to push this down and hook that fish, then you need a bigger hook. And that's all there is to it. And just make sure your hook, don't get the bulky hooks. You want the nice finesse, fine wire hooks, because that's the one that penetrates the easiest. And since you're fishing with light gear setup, you don't want to have to, set very hard at all. And it's just a lift the rod and reel in. So you want a hook that penetrates easy, nice, sharp, doesn't get out. That is about it, Crazy Calhoun. The more you fish, the better you're going to be, and the more confidence you'll get, and you're going to develop your own strategies, ideas, techniques, and understand that everyone that shares, including me, is just showing you what they know, what they've learned, and it's different situations. There's not one size fits all, and so just have fun with it, see what works for you, and when you do catch that fish, I expect a picture, and I will put it up on the video whenever you do send it to me. So. All right, here's your rig I previously showed you. Notice I'm fishing the hooks with the swivel in it. And if you do decide to go that route, just understand that when you start to fish, make sure it's not tangled in the swivel, because it tends to do that. It tends to get right around here. It starts to bind with the line. The easiest way that, when you're casting, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can sidearm, okay? Or this is how I kind of teach my kids and my wife, is you put it straight up in the air, and you just let it fall forward and then release it. Either are fine, whatever your preference is. You might develop your own technique, who knows? But the important thing is you get it out in front of you, and when you start to do that, just get some momentum forward, and you don't have to reel it in real fast. In fact, this whole technique is slow, slow, slow. When you're reeling it back, you should feel weight. Okay, and when that's, I'm feeling weight, I'm feeling the rocks, and if you notice, I hit the ground, do one of those, what I just did. Usually 9 times out of 10, it will free it. You know, like I said earlier, you're going to go through some rigs, especially those little weights. So the other tip I would give you is when you're fishing, you're going to get a tap. It's just like someone tapping on your rod, and you do not set the hook. The only time you set the hook is when you feel weight on that rod. And I think the best presentation you can give is to try to keep that tip as still as possible. So be aware of any kind of movements you're making, and because you want it to be natural, and those fish don't dart 1 foot, 2 foot. You know, you just want to kind of seem like it's a dying fish. And I give it a little rattle, like just rattle my tip. And I also take every once in a while, I take the slack out. And that just tells me that there's nothing on it, because sometimes it's so subtle you don't even know a fish is on. And you want to keep a little slack. You don't want to keep it, you don't want to have the spooling on the water, but you want to keep a little slack so you're not bouncing it all over. And you can give it a little tap once in a while, and I pull it up. I can feel there's nothing on, no weight on it. Set the hook. You'll see me in other videos. I just pull up and start to reel. There's not much of a giant hook set, because these little hooks are super small and sharp, and so they tend to set themselves. If you look at my rod tip, you can see it'll bounce. Okay, come on, tap. Okay, so I think one got the tail right now, but it doesn't get the hook. Oh, okay, that one I got it on the. Sometimes you get it on the drop, so that was just dropping to the, and I got a nice hit. Oh, there he is again. So tap, tap. Again, I think these are just really small little fish that are can't get the hook in their mouth, and you don't really want them to anyway because they're so small. All right. Another thing, FYI, is you know, when you get hits, always bring it up, check it, make sure you still got bait, make sure that things aren't tangled from the hit. Okay, that one just, oh jeez, that one took it on the fall, and it's not as big as or little as a dink as I thought it was, but so be ready, because that time it was just falling, and he took it. And that's how you do it. That's a little drop shot fish. And of course, after you catch them, oh, make sure you bless them. Bless them, the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Go with God. And then you have to make sure this mess is fixed. Really good lesson, because if I wasn't ready, you know, it was just falling. So if you had a bunch of slack out, you would have never known that fish hit. And it was small, so it would have been like, oh well, but if it was a big one, you would have missed it. So just make sure that when you're fishing, you understand that they can take it anywhere. It hits the water to when you bring it back up. I've had them do that too, where you're bringing it back to the surface and they hit. Again, congratulations, Crazy Calhoun, and hope this video is helpful to you. And vaya con Dios, my friend.
Rise and follow me, I'll make you fishers of men.